Hi guys, it's Stock Curry, and in just a few minutes, I am going to give you every single stock pick from the top 10 YouTubers. But first, let's talk about what happened today in the stock markets. We gotta do a stock market update because today was supposed to be an up day, and the markets were down massively. The S&P was down 1.5%, the NASDAQ was down 3%. So what the heck happened? Well, basically, as I was going through and I was looking at it, it did not make sense. Now, we know what happened. We just don't know why. Let me explain, first of all, what happened. What happened is the bond yields skyrocketed. Specifically, the 10-year Treasury, it jumped a ton. Now, anytime that the Treasury yields jump, what that does is it causes stock prices to go down, especially high growth stocks. We talked about that before as we were anticipating the Fed and what they might say. But you got to remember, the Fed came out and they said we are not going to raise interest rates until at least 2023. So if that's the case, then why did the bond yields go up? It doesn't make sense, right? Well, you have to understand that the bond yields are a forward thinking. It's kind of like futures on the Fed interest rates. So bond traders, basically what they're doing is they are expecting that inflation is going to go up, and they are expecting that interest rates are going to go up as well. Now, we already know that inflation was going to go up. The Fed actually said inflation was going to go up. In fact, they even said it was going to go up faster than what their benchmark is, and they were okay with that. However, knowing that, we also know that at some point, maybe 2023 or later, that the Fed is going to have to raise interest rates. So the bond yields, what they are, the 10-year Treasury yields, they're like futures for the bond market. And so what bond traders are doing is they're saying sometime in the next 10 years, we know that interest rates are going to rise. And because we know that interest rates are going to rise at some point in the next few years, we're going to increase the interest rates on the 10-year bonds. Now, the problem with that is normally what happens is those bond rates go up very slowly over time. The reason being that the Fed typically increases interest rates very slowly over time. The Fed isn't going to just increase interest rates by an entire percent all at once. They're going to increase interest rates by 1/4% or 1/8%. At most, in extreme circumstances, they might go up 0.5%, but that's it. So the problem is that the 10-year bond rates have been going up a ton, way faster than the Fed would normally raise interest rates. So what's going on? Well, I did a ton of research today trying to figure out why these bond yields were going up. And you're not going to believe this, but most of the bond traders that I found were confused. They didn't know. I mean, we know that they're going up because of expectations that the Fed is going to raise interest rates, but we don't know why they're going up so fast. We don't know why they have absolutely skyrocketed this week. It does not make sense. And let me tell you something. Anytime you see something in the market that does not make sense, 100% of the time it is market manipulation. Guaranteed. So what happened was, there is extreme market manipulation in the bond markets right now. As bond rates go up, prices go down, which means short sellers are slamming the bond markets. They are shorting the heck out of the 10-year and the bonds, and they are shorting, which is causing these bond yields to skyrocket. They're making a ton of money shorting these bonds. Problem is, that also drives stocks down at the same time. So that's basically what happened. It's market manipulation. Now, if you want to know a lot more about how the market manipulation works in the bond markets and a lot more of the dynamics behind all this, there is one YouTuber that did an excellent job explaining today what was going on and why the bond yields were rising and why stocks were dropping. That was Zip Trader. So if you want to understand more about this bond market manipulation, I recommend that you go watch Zip Trader's video that he uploaded Thursday night. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's stock picks. For those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Stock Curry. I used to work as an analyst for some large investment banks, and now I analyze stock picks from the top 10 YouTubers. I then compile all of my analysis into a daily video that I post right here on this channel. I spend hours every day watching YouTube videos so that you don't have to. All you have to do is watch one video each day and you will get every single stock pick from the top 10 YouTubers. And all I ask in return is that you hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so that you can get notified when I release my next video. In fact, I'll give you 5 seconds to do that right now. All right, I just want to remind everyone that I am not a financial advisor and none of the YouTubers I follow are financial advisors either. Today's video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who are wondering, you are currently looking at the Webull desktop app. Webull is the app that I use for trading, and it is also the app that I use in all of my videos. Okay, before we get into the stock picks, I want to show you guys a 10-year Treasury ETF. Now keep in mind that with Treasuries, as the bond yields increase, the price decreases. And what I want to show you guys here is the absolute massive sell-off in market manipulation that is taking place in the bond market. Now this is an ETF that you guys can purchase, but I just want to show you guys this because you can very clearly see what's going on here. Now for a long time, this is very, very flat and even expected, and you can even see the RSI would get down and it would bounce, and there's nothing really to see here until we get to February 16th. And then starting February 16th, everything starts to go down, and it goes down and down and down and down. But what's most amazing is this RSI right here, where it is absolutely massively oversold. Now the question at this point is, when does it bottom out? When do the bond yields rebound? When do the bond yields start going back down? When do bond prices start going back up? And in turn, when does the stock market start going back up? Well, if I look at some of my plays like BEEM, TTOO, SCNS, what you're going to notice is the exact same chart pattern in all of these. On all of these stocks, we had this run up and then everything has just been absolutely tanking. But what I am encouraged by is that even though the bond yields have continued to increase, the stocks stopped dropping. And so right about here on March 5th, things have started going back up. And even though they've come down a little bit, they have not seen that huge sell-off like we saw a couple of weeks ago. So this actually is very encouraging to me. On a day where the NASDAQ was down 3%, our stocks really didn't perform that bad. And that is a really, really, really good sign that this is not going to be a complete and total market crash, that this is just some short-term volatility that we're going to get over, and that all of our growth stocks are going to go back up. So I maintain what I said yesterday, that I'm going to stick with the high growth stocks for now, at least for the next few weeks, and then I'll reevaluate. But for now, I'm feeling pretty good about our high growth stocks despite today's huge sell-off. Okay, first up in today's stock picks is AMC. This is AMC Movie Theaters, and Trace Trades uploaded a video Thursday afternoon showing ladder market manipulation in progress. He focused on the level 2 data and saw how there were multiple 4,000 share limit sell orders spaced 1 penny apart. He said the reason that kind of market manipulation works is because as soon as there's enough buying volume to get past one price, the stock immediately gets stuck at the next price and it can't go up. So the only place for the stock price to go is sideways or down. It would take tremendous volume to overcome that kind of market manipulation because hedge funds and market makers can team up and put more selling pressure on the stock than actually exists from investors, thus manipulating the stock price down. Despite the latter selling price action today, AMC held its ground quite well. So if there was market manipulation pushing the stock price down and the stock still closed up 3%, that is actually very bullish. Now looking at the options open interest, there is huge open interest at the $15 mark for options that expire tomorrow. For each dollar amount that market makers can keep AMC at or under, that is tens of thousands of option contracts that are going to expire worthless. If AMC closes at $13 or below on Friday, market makers are going to make a ton of money on expired options contracts. So I do expect AMC to either stay at $14 or drop down to $13 by the close on Friday. After that though, starting Monday, we get a fresh new set of options contracts, so AMC won't have market makers keeping it to a particular price point anymore, and AMC will be able to get to its true market value. Next up is BNGO. This is Bionanogenomics, and Chris Sain said he bought more BNGO today at around $8.75. He said he plans to buy more BNGO on Friday, and he has an ideal buying price of $8.50. Next up is COIN. This is Coinbase, and this is a platform that is used to trade cryptocurrencies. They have filed to go public, but we don't know the exact date they will start trading yet. They are expected to go public sometime near the end of this month. Keenan Grace said large institutions have already run up the price, so it's expected to IPO at a very high price. This may not move the same way that a lot of other hype IPOs do, so be careful with this one. Next up is CRWD. This is CrowdStrike, and this is a cybersecurity company used by banks and other large companies to help cybersecurity professionals manage threats. Keenan Grace let us know that CRWD beat earnings for the 5th straight time. They already work with 35% of the Fortune 500 companies and 58 of the Fortune 100 companies. Also, 98% of their customers renew their contracts every year, and on average, they increase their spending by 25% per year. So based upon that, CRWD is expected to continue to increase in price as revenues and profits continue to increase. Keenan Gray showed us in tip ranks that the average analyst price target is $254.18, which represents a 33% upside from Thursday's closing price. Now, if you want access to tip ranks, you can get access for free. Just click my link in the description of this video. Keenan Grace recommends this as a long-term hold. He gave a buy-enter price of $200 and an ideal buy-in price of $190. Chris Zane also let us know that he bought more CRWD today at around $190. Next up is EXPI. This is EXP World Holdings. They're a real estate development company. Smart Trader let us know that while earnings were a little bit of a miss, they continue to grow massively year over year. Smart Trader gave a year-end price target of $120, which represents a 151% upside from Thursday's closing price. Next up is FUTU. This is FUTU Holdings, and they're a broker similar to Webull. Smart Trader let us know that FUTU reported earnings on Tuesday. Their paying customer base increased by 160% year over year, their revenues increased by 281% year over year, and their profit increased by 321% year over year. These are insane growth numbers, and now they are trying to expand into international markets. Technically, this stock is in a descending wedge, which is bullish. I think FUTU might get down to the 50-day EMA at around $120 or the 10-week EMA, which is around $128, before bouncing and going back up. So I'm going to give you a buy-enter price of $145, an ideal buy-in price of $130, and a stop-loss price of $115. My price target is $200. Next up is HOME. This is at home, and Chris Zane said HOME has hit his price target of $30. Now is the time to sell and take profits if you bought this a few months ago when Chris Zane recommended it. Next up is NNOX. This is NanoX Imaging, and they're a new X-ray manufacturer that significantly reduces costs compared to current X-ray technology. Dead Inside went over NNOX today because yesterday they said they expect FDA approval any day now. The CEO said the review board has received everything they needed, and now they are just waiting on a decision. Because of that, Dead Inside thinks we are at the lows on this stock right now. If you're not familiar with NNOX, you should go watch Dead Inside's video that he uploaded Thursday. Dead Inside did a great job explaining a lot of the influences and upcoming catalysts on NNOX. Next up is TIGR. This is Up FinTech Holdings. They're a broker similar to Webull. Smart Trader let us know that TIGR has earnings coming up on Friday, March 26th. Smart Trader recommends not buying TIGR until after they report earnings, although he does think TIGR will beat earnings expectations. Technically, this is right at the 50-day EMA. It might rebound and go up on Friday, or it might drop all the way down to the 100-day EMA to around $17. Now, right now, the RSI and MACD are both bearish, so I think dropping down to the $17 range is most likely. Next up is YALA. This is YALA Group, and they're a Middle Eastern and North African social media platform. Smart Trader showed us that YALA is right at resistance. If it can break out above $28, this stock will be a strong buy. They also reported earnings earlier this week. Monthly active users increased by almost 300% year over year, and paying users increased by 624% year over year, and net income increased by 181% year over year. That is massive growth, and Smart Trader really likes this as a long-term growth stock. Now, if you're wondering when to buy, the time is now. The MACD is bullish, and this remains above all of the EMA lines. Next up is ZOM. This is Zomedica, and they're a pharmaceutical company. Chris Zane lowered his price target on ZOM from $3 to $2.30. Chris Zane is waiting for options trading to start on ZOM, and then he plans to buy a put on it. Chris Zane thinks that once ZOM gets to $2.30, it will drop down. Now, technically, this stock looks like it's ready to start dropping right now. So if you don't mind trading short, you can do that. Just keep in mind that this is hard to borrow with a pretty high borrow fee. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and get a lot out of it. Comment down below what your favorite stock pick is. And if you want to get some free stocks, sign up for Webull using my link in the description below. When you sign up, they're going to give you 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850 just for depositing $100. They're also going to give me 1 free stock, so it helps you out and it also helps the channel out. Finally, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon if you haven't already. I hope you have a lot of success trading, and I will see you tomorrow.